The Russian invasion of Ukraine is a clear example of how modern technology has altered the nature of conventional combat. On the other hand, Clausewitz's definition of war, which states that war is therefore an act of force to compel our opponent to obey our will, has not been revised. The issue that has to be answered is what kinds of new technology and techniques are being used in modern warfare, as well as how these shifts in thinking have affected the traditional approach to planning an invasion campaign. During the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, a few cutting-edge military innovations have been put to the test on the battlefield. The Ukrainian armed forces have, with assistance from Western countries, been able to acquire more modern defensive weaponry in a methodical but steady manner. One of them is the portable anti-tank missile known as the Javelin, which was first introduced in 1989 and has shown itself to be quite successful. Even though the Javelin has become something of a symbol of success in Ukraine and is almost certainly the weapon that has changed the direction of the Russian invasion in favor of the Ukrainians by destroying more than 1,500 tanks, it is still a weapon that was developed in the last century. Thus, keep watching to see the most technologically advanced weapons in Ukraine. It is generally agreed that autonomous and unmanned technology will dominate the battlefield in the foreseeable future. On the other hand, unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, are already a feature of contemporary warfare. The method by which people and robots collaborate and communicate is being revolutionized by recent technological developments. Thus, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has included more drone technology than any other battle in history. From the beginning of the conflict, drones have been responsible for the destruction of over 60 Russian assets so far. They play a significant part, but not a deciding one, in the accomplishments of the armed forces of the Ukrainian state. On both sides, several kinds of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, are in use. The Turkish Bayraktar TB2 is the most notable medium-altitude, long-endurance drone in the world, and it was an essential component in the operational success of the Ukrainian military. It is equipped with laser-guided bombs, and its primary targets are military posts, personnel, and vehicles. Another kind of unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, that is being used extensively in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is the kamikaze drone, also known as the Russian Lancet and the American Switchblade. It can loiter and seek targets before crashing into them, at which point it detonates the warhead that it carries and may be carried by a single person in a backpack and carried by that person alone. In addition, the majority of the unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, used by Ukrainian forces are straightforward commercial drones equipped with built-in high-definition cameras that are capable with smartphones and can be purchased via various online shopping platforms. Therefore, they provide soldiers with information, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities, allowing them to stay one step ahead of the adversary. A person may access a vast quantity of information with only the press of a button on their smartphone in this age of information and social media. Despite this, the concept of looking for information and being knowledgeable about the strengths and weaknesses of an adversary remains the same. At this moment in time, the Ukrainian armed forces have the potential to be regarded as one of the most powerful and competent military organizations anywhere in the world. The fact that Ukrainians have access to the information and data obtained by the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world is the primary justification for the existence of this idea. At the very least, in part, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense's ability to carry out accurate attacks, as well as efficient surveillance and reconnaissance, may be credited to the information that it is getting from its Western friends. Just as crucial is the fact that Ukrainians themselves are effectively employing modern artificial intelligence algorithms to publicly access photos to provide essential information. Clearview AI, a Ukrainian company that provides software that uses facial recognition to discover the social media profiles of deceased soldiers, has formed a partnership with Ukraine, and the Ukrainian government will now use this software to notify the families of deceased soldiers and to transfer their bodies to them. In addition, the Russian military's frequent use of unencrypted communication is providing the Ukrainians with an opportunity to gain an edge. To process intercepted Russian communications and automatically highlight information relevant to the Ukrainian armed forces within a searchable text database, an AI-focused technology company called Primer modified their commercial AI-enabled voice transcription and translation service. Thus, the quantity of data that can be processed by AI is comparable to what would be accomplished by hundreds of analysts working simultaneously. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, has said that his soldiers want Western combat tanks as soon as possible to protect their country and drive Russian troops out of seized territories. Therefore, the United States of America is contributing 31 of its Leopard 2 tanks. The United Kingdom is contributing 14 tanks, and Germany is contributing 14 tanks. And for those who don't know, the Leopard 2 is a kind of tank that is used by several European nations due to its reputation for being simpler to maintain and more efficient with fuel than the majority of other Western tanks. Also, according to reports, Spain will be delivering 6 of its Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. In the months that followed the Russian invasion, NATO preferred that its member countries supply Ukraine with tanks that had been in use in the former Warsaw Pact. And this is because the Ukrainian armed forces are familiar with these tanks, know how to operate and maintain them, and have a large number of spare parts for them. Kyiv, on the other hand, is under the impression that its armed forces have reached the point where they may use tanks supplied by NATO. Thus, the United Kingdom took the initiative in NATO by promising to provide the Challenger 2, which is the alliance's premier combat tank. President Joe Biden, while announcing that the United States would be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, referred to these vehicles as the most competent tanks in the world. In addition, it was said that the United States will begin training Ukrainian troops to operate the tanks as soon as possible, although it is unknown how long it will take until the tanks themselves are delivered. According to the BBC's Gary O'Donoghue, who is based in Washington, the financing procedure for the tanks means that they will not be deployed for some months. The United States has also given Ukraine NASAMS, which stands for the National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System. And in November 2022, the first NASAMS arrived in Ukraine. Moreover, the United Kingdom has supplied several air defense systems, one of which is called Starstreak, which is intended to shoot down low-flying aircraft at close range. The M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, often known as HIMARS, is one of the long-range rocket launchers that the United States has provided to Ukraine. HIMARS are said to have played a significant role in Ukraine's success in driving back Russian soldiers, especially at Bakhmut. In addition, it is important to note that the range of HIMARS and many other systems vary depending on the munitions that are deployed, and it is thought that Western donors have not yet delivered the ammunition that has the largest range. Also, the Smerch system on the Russian side has a shorter range than the munitions that are believed to have been provided to Ukraine, which gives the Ukrainian system a range of around 50 miles. In addition, the accuracy of HIMARS systems is far higher than that of their Russian counterparts. And that's it. Thanks for watching this video. Click the subscribe button and see you in the following video.